Hi, teachers. In this short screencast, we'll talk about how you can share or push out an assignment to students. So, after you have your assignments listed in your dashboard and they're just listed here or in folders, you have two options. You have the share on the right, or you have the three vertical dots. Remember that when we want to share with students, we don't want to use that large number and capital letter code. We're going to use the copied link, the hyperlink. So if you wanted to share it with a colleague, you could simply choose the apple to signify teachers. You could, if it's just one teacher, maybe it's easy to just put their email in here and then send it. But I would also maybe encourage just using the link. So you could hit copy link and send that to a colleague. However, if you wanted to send it to students, which will be more frequent, this is when it'll prompt you to decide which roster that you want to assign it to. You can do it to multiple, to a certain one, or just your only one. There is another screencast in this series that discusses how to get us create a roster, so check that out if that's still new to you. I'm going to just choose the top one. All right, and so now it's been assigned to there. Here is the class code on the right. And here is those capital letters with the number combination code that we used to give students out, and not any longer will we do that. That will take students directly to a basic account. And now that we have pro accounts, that code won't connect with your assignment. Instead, just click on that option to bring this up, where normally, yes, we probably would have shared that with students. Instead, go to this copy link. Now that that link is in your virtual clipboard, you may go to your Schoology, your Seesaw, or your daily schedule, and drop this link in to take students directly to that assignment for whichever topic you have it on. That way, if you had different Classkick assignments for different subject areas, students wouldn't get lost. If I take you back to the dashboard of my assignments, and this is going to grow, right? If you may already have more than this, but it would be too much for our students to navigate and determine which assignment that they need to go to. So using that hyperlink will help that. If it was an assignment that was shared to you by and from a colleague, you could decide, where to share that with, but that really isn't a necessary need right now. The other option are the three vertical dots, and you can assign it this way too. It brings up the exact same, because we already did assign to this class. That's why this is already mentioned here. It would have prompted you to choose a roster, and then here's your class code again. Just real quick, as you assign it, if you did put grade values or point values per page, you would want to turn that on. If you didn't, we can simply turn that off. Helpers means can, and they have this little nice helpful to say, what does this even mean? But this is where peers can support each other in an activity, and which is great during distance learning, knowing it's one more way that they can be engaged. Even through distance. But if there is, say, a test or something you don't want helpers on, you can simply slide that off. The hide button is a really great feature, because maybe you're creating a bunch of assignments at one moment to spread out over the next couple of weeks. You may have then that code ready to go, but you don't want students to possibly access your dashboard and just click on an activity beforehand. So you could simply hide it and then unhide it when it's time for them to actually get to the activity and get that code. Last is lock. And now lock is when you just want this activity to be done. For example, if it was a quiz and you don't want anyone to go back and change their answers, you can simply lock it. Another way to use this would be if you did have an activity where you wanted students to go back and forth, you and them, that is through feedback, you can do that a few times, but maybe after a while you're done. It's sort of like just saying we're canceling this activity, we're moving forward, and you can lock it and kind of, what's the word? Sorry, I'm looking for a word. It's archive it, basically. And if you wanted to actually remove it from this roster, you assigned it accidentally, you do have this delete option right here. So after you've assigned it, just keep in mind now you have this upper, like this toolbar up here, you have the View Work tab. So now that you know what you've assigned out, this is where you would actually watch the students. If it, say, was an asynchronous activity and you would watch to see when they all log on, their thumbnails will turn from this gray to the white and show a thumbnail of that activity. Maybe you don't want to see all sides of all students and rather just one at a time. It takes them a little bigger, which is nice. This is one way to do that. Now, usually they have students listed alphabetically. You can do by first name or by last name. The grades high to low would only be if after, when you're looking at data. So for example, if each of these slides had point values, right now none of them have any, but if they had point values, then you went ahead and graded each of them. They would have a color-coded box to show the score value for each slide that had a point value. Then if you wanted to show grades highest to lowest or lowest to highest, you could rank, that is the students, and be able to ask yourself and determine who you need to meet with next or who's ready to move on. So this is a really nice feature up here, this toolbar. So this was when you edit the activity, this is when you are assigning the activity, and this is when you can view the work live or asynchronously. Hope this helps.